Into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, AJ, Blais coming at you as the Avs beat the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-2 on national television. Put some spec on their name.
60-second rundown. Dibs. Go. No, genuinely, game of the year type stuff right there. Colorado, scoreless first period. Really good game, and then Colorado gets first goal of the game. I already forgot who it was, but it was dope. They were all dope. Miko playing baseball, little spring training action.
Yep.
Swats that thing in. Sick. Sydney Crosby, sick. Stars are coming out to play. Nicolas Aube-Kubel gives them a lead 22 seconds or something like that later. Like, it was so nasty. Nicolas Aube-Kubel with a bomb of a slap shot gives them a 2-1 lead going into the third period. The Pens tie it on a broken play in their own zone. Bad turnover from Andre Burakovsky, who had a couple of them in the game, and Devon Taves scores literally seconds later on the very next shift, and Avs win 3-2. Kill the only penalty of the game. In the last 4 minutes and gave up 0 shots. So nasty.
Yep.
That game ruled. If you were not a fan of that game,
amazing hockey game.
Get away from me. Get out my face. Get out our chat. Get out our mentions. You're not a hockey person in any way. You're not meant to like hockey if you could not find a way to enjoy that game. That is exactly the type of game that you show a person when you're trying to get them into a sport and say,
this is what it's all about. Yeah.
This is it. This is what's up. Great hockey game. Just a great hockey game. Skill players making skill plays all throughout the ice. Just It was so sick, man. That was so much fun.
It was a dope game. It genuinely was. And I think maybe the most encouraging thing for me through that game is the Avs got better as the game went on. Yes, you have maybe the Burakovsky turnover is the one thing where you're looking at like that wasn't great, but the first period was arguably the Avs' worst, and it only went up from there, I think. Yeah, and we talked to look, I mentioned this the other day, the Avs playing their best in the third periods of games. Look at this game. They dominated the third period. Look at this game. Yeah. You go and you look at all of the shot metrics and everything, and the Avs were on the wrong end of it in this one. And then you go and you look at the third period, and you're like, the hell happened there? And it just goes, like, I'm telling you, this is just a different DNA. This is a different club. They are built to close games. Mentally, this year, they're closing games. Yep, I agreed. And like they just, despite giving up that game tying goal, it was still where you could look at comfortable, and be like, oh, but they gave that up. The next shift, they have the lead. They regained the lead, and it's like, look, is it perfect? No. Is it the way that you're saying? Oh my God, this is unimpeachable process. This is incredible. I love all of this. No, there's room for improvement. The fact that there's room for improvement from the team leading the NHL. Girl, please. Not even to mention all the players they don't have in this game.
Yeah.
I don't even really feel the need to get into it. We all know. We don't. We know for a fact, a stone cold hard fact, that we have at no point this season seen Colorado ceiling. And they've got 104 points and lead the NHL and have not touched the ceiling.
It's insane.
Good luck, y'all.
It's genuinely actual craziness. And the best part about this game for me isn't that the Avs played super well or this, that, the other thing. The game was just genuinely a treat to watch.
Yeah, it's just a great hockey game.
From start to finish, this entire game was like, oh, that's dope. Oh, that's dope. Oh, that was dope. It was just so cool all the way around. AJ, you kind of mentioned it. Blais, is there a little bit of concern about the shot metrics in the early parts of this game? Do you want to see a little bit more possession from the Avs, or are you okay with it?
I mean, right now, right, like what we've talked about, you're missing two of your top D-men. And again, like you would like to see them play better team defense. But this is something that's just going to happen. Like we talked about, this is another team that's really good, right? And they were on their game in that first period. Like they wanted to strike first, especially being in the away building, right? Like they wanted to just take the crowd out of it, even though the crowd was a lot of Pittsburgh fans there. So they wanted to jump on it, and that you could see they were jumping lanes and trying to take, the opportunities that they got. And they did have quite a few opportunities to shoot on Kuemper with some high danger chances. And you got to give it up for Kuemper to keep the Avs in that game right off the bat.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'd give it up to Kuemper if he'd let me. Are you kidding me? That dude, I don't know. I was telling Z about it. I was like, look, statistically speaking, he has gotten better every single month, culminating with a 940 save percentage in March. And so I was like, there's just not a lot of realistic room for him to continue to improve.
And yet,
it's April 2nd. I'm like, I'm not ruling it out. I'm not ruling it out.
Close to 950 this whole month.
Crazy.
He was excellent in this. And again, talking about room for improvement, both goals start with pucks that should have been caught by him. Where he makes initial saves, but did not corral them the way that you would like to have seen. And then one of them just the immediate rebound, and then the other one obviously involved
extended play.
Involved a little bit of help there. But I mean, other than that, like Darcy Kuemper, I mean, he gets flat out gets lucky when Jake Gensel beats him and doesn't score.
Yeah,
but
didn't beat him by enough.
Stop Sidney Crosby 1-on-1. Stop Evan Rodriguez on a breakaway. Like you're looking at this game and you're like, they had the better of the chances early. The fact that they were down 2-1 is on. Like it's a combination of Darcy Kuemper and the Pens just failing to execute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like they were the better team through two periods, and then they ran into the third period Avs, which is the buzzsaw of all buzzsaws. Got all hyped up, started feeding off the crowd, and got exactly what they wanted. Got choked a little bit, and then dropped the hammer. Just really, I mean, just excellent. They were excellent.
Agreed. It was a fantastic hockey game, top to bottom. It puts the Avs in their magic number for clinching a playoff spot is now 1. Any Avalanche point or any Vegas loss
from here on out clinches their postseason.
Of the month would clinch the postseason.
Yep.
And honestly, their clinching of the division probably isn't that far behind. So,
yeah.
Well, look at. I mean, when you look at it, you say, okay, clinching the division. That's Minnesota. That's the gap to Minnesota, right?
Correct. So,
good Lord,
it's a pretty big gap.
Was there talking about
17 points?
It's 17 points now after that game.
when they were talking it on the broadcast, it's hilarious when you see the numbers pop up there. You're like, wow, there's a big split there.
Yeah, there's almost no point in showing all the other teams on the same graphic as the Avs with that thing. It's like
every time they show the Eastern Conference one and they include Columbus and Islanders as in the hunt and they're 17 points back, and you're like, bro,
they need to make it more
what
visual.
Are you doing?
They need to make it more visual, like a streak, so every point has a different section, so you can see how far out the Avs are in the West.
Giant 20% gap between the Avs and everybody else.
Or you could do like in basketball they have like the little line graph that tracks the scores with each line representing one of the teams.
Yep.
You could do that with the Avs and just watch it as it just goes like this, and then everybody else is like, and the Avs are just way up there. I used a calculator to do that math just to double check to get to that 17 points.
One of the big factors I do want to talk about in this game was the depth. Obviously, you got a goal from Knack in this game, which is great, but you also saw a consistent quality play out of the Avs depth forwards in a game where no Kadri. Lines were a little bit mixed up. You had Kuemper playing on the second line, and the Avs depth, especially in the second and third period of this game, were just like, what's up? We're going to go win this hockey game.
Dude, I think if you're looking for reasons to be nervous, I don't know that this game gives you any. If you're looking for reasons to feel good, I mean, you are talking realistically here. Sam Girard has been on the ice for several days. Bowen BYRAM just played in the AHL last night. He's playing again tonight, and then we'll see. But if they get both of those guys back, they get that much better defensively, but also offensively. How much better do they get?
Chip in, yep.
How much better do they get replacing Curtis McDermott and Jack Johnson? I would say Jack probably right now.
Probably say Jack. I don't think he played particularly well tonight. But
so Jack Johnson, Curtis McDermott with BYRAM and Girard. How much better do they get in both ends?
Right.
Yeah.
Just BYRAM McDermott or Girard McDermott. How much better do they get in both ends of the ice? Like
significantly.
Great. But then you throw Gabe Landeskog up front. Sounds like he's not going to be back until
game one, probably.
Until probably the postseason. But that timeline remains far enough off that a lot can still happen between now and then.
Yep.
So an update a month out does not mean a lot for me at this moment. I would love for him to get into the last week of regular season games just to knock the rust off and feel like he's not using game one to get it all back, right?
You would like that for sure.
I just think that the depth in this game, where all of this started, the depth in this game is, I think, maybe the most encouraging of this, because you're rolling a second line of Nichushkin, JT Compher, ARTTURI, LEHKONEN, and what happened?
I mean, you're watching.
They go punch for punch.
Yeah. And particularly, you're watching Nichushkin and LEHKONEN's energy just feed off of each other, and they just start mauling lines. Like, no one wants to play against those two right now.
Are you curious about some numbers?
Unreal.
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's go.
Numbers.
Nichushkin, that line, primary matchup against Raquel Malkin and Jeff Carter.
Yep.
80%.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Got beaten up by Crosby a bit.
Well, who doesn't?
But had almost twice the ice time against Malkin.
Yeah.
And went 12-2. So 12-2, 12-4. There's like a minor variation there between them. Okay. And I don't know. I like, this is why you got these guys, right?
Yep.
This is why you gave up a lot for ARTTURI LEHKONEN, is because he changes the dynamic of that your fortune. Because now you have two of these dudes. That are going to roll in there, going to make life absolutely miserable attacking on the forecheck like that.
Well,
now you put them together, and we saw what happened. Would anybody, just on paper, Raquel, Malkin, Jeff Carter against JT Compher, Val Nichushkin, and ARTTURI LEHKONEN?
Yeah, you're taking Malkin's line on that one.
Would anybody pregame say, "Oh, well, we'll take this or that"? Like, I just think that's alrighty. Like,
well,
for them to have done that, this is proof of concept. And knowing that Landy and Kadri are on their way back, seeing Burakovsky remains the same complicated player after that game that it was before.
Yep.
Because
still
you
good.
look at 2 huge turnovers today.
Yep.
And a couple of high wire acts carrying the puck where you're like, oh, okay, we're good. We cool. But then makes a nice play on the game tying goal.
That's what I was doing at the beginning of the pod.
Cold blooded, man.
It's all in fun.
This
he
is
had a
like
rough game.
I love the shirt though. I am the pizza man.
Yeah, that's like. Did you Photoshop Berkey's head onto Johnny Sins? Is that where this is from?
So this was a team award for my men's league team, where every game it was the pizza delivery man of the game, and so when you did it, we would go grab a bunch of pizzas, and we had all this stuff, and you would get all done up and hold the pizzas, and we'd take pictures and send it to everybody.
Okay.
So I'm repurposing it now.
Great work. I think the list goes on though. You got some quality plays from Burakovsky in this game, including the assisting on Mikko's goal. But also you look down the lineup and you're going, the experimentation is starting to work for Bednar. I thought Sturm played fantastically tonight alongside Newhook and Kubel.
We're all big fans of Tyson Jost and all, but Nico Sturm has fit in really well. Like,
yeah,
that is such a solid like high five to the pro scouting staff to have picked that needle out of the haystack. Because there's how many guys on a fourth line around the league that they could have looked at for that kind of a deal.
Yep.
And for them to have gone out and targeted Sturm and gotten him for a price that they were comfortable with, like, I am so impressed with Nico Sturm. I just think that he's just been a perfect, like, knowing and being comfortable with the limitations. Like, my expectations of offense coming from him are limited.
Yep.
What he gives them is fine. Like what he gave them today and the assist that he got, that's where I expect his points to come from. Hard work, clearing a puck off of a board battle and moving it ahead to more skilled players. And it was awesome. He's been so good, man. He's been just so steady and such a quality addition. I've been thrilled with him.
Dude goes hard. I love watching him play. I mean, his motor is just unreal. Like, he is just all over the place.
I mean, I think that's true of nearly everyone on this team. I know we've kind of entered a little bit of the doldrums of the season for the Avs, where they're just kind of waiting for the playoffs right now. But hang on. Okay, we caught up.
Bless you.
Thank you. Everyone on this team seems fully committed to playing the correct way, to playing hard every single night. You go down the list, and I don't think you can pick out a player tonight where you felt like they weren't really going. Cogliano working his ass off on the bottom line. Darren Helm too. Obviously, we talked about Sturm, LEHKONEN, and Nuke going hard. Even Burakovsky, made some dumb decisions with the puck, but he's out there working for the puck too. So,
I mean, putting in real effort, and there were problems, but he contributed on offense as well.
Well, and it runs to the defense too, right? You're watching Devon Taves block pucks off of ankles and get up and have to shake off the stingers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and the Avs are just committed.
Maybe the only guy that I would say 2 guys today that I really thought they could be okay without these 2 guys in a playoff series were O'Connor and McDermott.
Yep.
LOC made the one really nice play to MacKinnon out front where he busted out the pitching wedge and lofted that thing 75 feet over the net where you're just like, what?
Yeah, that thing
What is this?
Straight up.
But everything else, man. Like and like LOC, I don't think LOC was like actively detrimental or anything. I just think like Abe Kubel played really well, and Abe Kubel put together a couple of strong games before the healthy scratch too. We're like, look, there are upsides to that guy's game. One of them is the fact that he has 8 goals for the Avs this year.
That is more than anyone else on your fourth line right now.
Well, and you're like, okay, like you know, there's a lot of, anytime you talk about O'Connor and his lack of scoring, there's always at least one, right? That like rolls out and is like, but that's not his role. And it's like, okay, but it's now been 40 games.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. And
It's been 3 full months. It was January 2nd was the last time he scored a goal for you. This is no longer like this is half the season has gone by. And so you're saying, okay, well, I think the advantage that OC is going to have is that he PKs. And Knack doesn't play on either special teams unit. So he's a limitation on your lineup.
Yeah.
But I do think that I do think it's just interesting. We're seeing what competition can do at the bottom of your roster because it's elevating all of their play. Those guys are all playing for jobs and they know it. And so they're having to, all right, you got to up the ante. Darren Helm scored last game. All right. Now Abe Kubel has a goal.
Yep.
So, you know, and I don't certainly expect Nazem Kadri to be back anytime soon. Just personally, don't know what that prognosis looks like, but I don't expect him to be back anytime soon. So they've got time to let this battle continue to shake out. It's basically going to be whoever wins it between now and the time that between Kadri and Landeskog's return. Whoever ends up getting healthy those are the guys that played the best this month. It's closing time.
Yep. All right, we are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. You can go over there, use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account. Still time to bet $5 and win $200 on any March Madness game that is left. AJ's Jayhawks playing right now, this very moment, with a tiny little lead at the start of the half. So still a lot of time left in that one for AJ to get mad. Give it time.
This is to be honest with you, if you're a fan of a college basketball team, you make Final Four. Given the chaos that is March Madness, it's fine. Unless you have an all-time great season going and you're undefeated or some shit, it's fine. Like, you're happy with whatever. I would love revenge on Villanova for a couple of years ago, but it's way too early in this game. They started out with a big old lead over Miami, too, and then things gave it all away. So,
I think we can all agree bet on UNC over Duke. Go do that over at DraftKings. Use the DNVR code when you sign up for a new account. There are a bunch of other odds boosts they have going right now, too, if you're not a new account. So be sure to go check all of that out. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Also brought to you all by Breckenridge Brewery. So get on over to the bar if you're not. Obviously, we're not there today, but hopefully getting back in there very, very soon. We'll got 8 different kinds of Breck Brew on tap there, or if you're at home like us, you can use your Breck Beer Locator online to find it at a local liquor store near you. Be sure to come drink some when you come take the party bus with us on April 16th. Officially sold out of game tickets for the party bus. So if you want tickets to the game, you have to buy those on your own, or if you already have them, great. But we are selling bus tickets only right now on the NBR Locker. So you can still ride the bus with us to the game and back. You just don't get tickets to the game. You're going to have to get your own for that one. There will still be the DNVR booth at intermissions that will come hang out, have a great time during the game. So go check that stuff out. It's going to be a blast. Hope y'all will join us for the April 16th game against Carolina. It's brought to you by Avoca TV. The party bus is dope. All the other beats that have had one say it's super duper awesome. So we're really looking forward to what should be an awesome night with the party bus. Okay, second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. I know we kind of started the show with this, but I do want to circle back to our king of the game because Darcy Kuemper is insane, man.
Dude.
Just an absolute monster of a hockey player right now. And I don't know how you can't be unbelievably confident in the Avs goaltending situation heading towards the playoffs right now.
And like Tristan Jarry, I think is actually a great counterpoint for that because Tristan Jarry was good in the regular season last year. He's been really good again this year. But why were there question marks last year about him? Because he got into that first round series and just fell apart.
Yep.
Just fell apart.
Straight up.
Well,
against the Islanders. And was a huge reason they lost that series. So that's why people are still out on Darcy Kuemper or still waiting to get on the bandwagon. Because as well as he may play right now, like this is all good and well, but this is gravy train season. They're at 104 points. How many more points are they going to get this year that are actually going to matter in the standings this year? Because I said once they hit about 110, realistically, not many more of these are going to be meaningful.
For the Avs side, I agree with you, but also tonight was a night where Pittsburgh is 1 point back of the Rangers. Pittsburgh wanted these 2 points.
Oh, dude, it's clear. Colorado wanted these 2 points.
That's what I'm saying.
Both teams took this very seriously.
And serious Darcy Kuemper is real good.
And and so like you and I, we're all like we're comfortable with the idea of believing in Darcy Kuemper going into the postseason, absolutely. But until a guy does it in the postseason, there will always be what's next.
Sure.
And no doubt. He just in the same way that the Avs cannot get out of the second round during the regular season, Darcy Kuemper can't prove himself as a goaltender in game 70 of the regular season. He can't prove himself as a playoff performer. We just have to wait for that part of the story to play out. But right now, he's doing everything imaginable to make you believe. Like, he is playing his best hockey. And again, he's ramped it up since December, really since January, because his December was only 4 games. So it's like, really, it's just the last couple of months that he's just been excellent. Just been excellent.
Blais, you play defense these days.
Yeah.
Do you want, obviously, a couple of places where Kemper's rebound control could be better. Do you want to see his rebound control better there, or do you want to see a little bit more out of the defense there? I think particularly, look, I get it. It's Sidney Crosby. He dunked on Cale Makar. It happens. Do you want to see a little bit better effort from Makar there to try and help with the rebounds?
Yeah, I mean, you always want your goalie to help out and just save everything. But the truth is that's never going to happen. If you've ever played goal before, you know how difficult it is. I mean, even for these guys, like sometimes they don't know where that puck hits them. And there's so much padding there that the puck just pops out, right? So you do want to see that. But again, like the Avs defense, you know, they really need to start shutting it down when it goes out in front. They know what's going to happen. They know what they have in Darcy Kuemper. They know that he's going to give up some rebounds here and there. And as long as they're playing the correct way and staying in front of the Penguins and not letting them crash that net, it's not that big of a concern, right? Like other teams are always going to get their chances. There's just never a game where, you know, there's not going to be a mistake by the Avs. I've just never seen the perfect hockey game before in my life. Let me know when you see it.
No, straight up, like I really don't have a big problem with the first. Like he mishandles the first shot on the first goal, and then like Sidney Crosby just outplays Makar in that situation.
Yep,
I can fucking live with that.
Yep.
Burakovsky throwing a pizza to Jake Gensel.
Way worse.
That's my problem.
Way worse. For sure.
That's my frustration there. Burakovsky throwing away the one to the second on the second goal, man.
Yep.
That's my problem there, is that you're giving them a great opportunity. But the Crosby one that's a good opportunity that they created. Like they took the shot, they got the rebound. That's on you to control that. And then after that is the defenseman versus the forward. And sometimes Sidney Crosby is going to outplay any number of defensemen in the world on those plays sometimes. He makes a great play and he scores. And you're just like, I said this on our last postgame pod, but sometimes You just gotta tip the cap and be like, it's a great play.
You left this game as Colorado saying we only gave up 1 point to Sidney Crosby. You can live with that every single time. Conversely, MacKinnon had 2 points tonight. NICO had 2 points tonight. The Avs top line more productive than Pittsburgh's. So, got players like Crosby are going to get
it done.
Yeah,
like who got it done in this game? Why did Colorado end up with 3 and Pittsburgh end up with 2? Who got them across the finish line? Colorado and Pittsburgh went 1-1 to start. Colorado's depth got it, and then kind of depth with Matheson tied it back up. And then who pushed them across the finish line? It was Colorado's big guns.
Yep.
It's Colorado Stars. It was their top line with their top guys.
Blais, we know you're a fan of shoot it higher. Have you considered adopting shoot it wider?
Well, I mean, are we talking about MacKinnon here? Because
yes,
he shot it higher from 10 feet out. It wasn't 15 feet. But whatever. I mean, basically he puts it on net. That's a goal. I win my bet, but whatever. The other one, sure, shoot it wide if you've got Devon Tate sitting on the back door for a tap in, like all day long.
Did he do it on purpose?
Yeah. Can you convince me that this was intentional?
There was no way that was on purpose.
So you don't think it was on purpose? Rudo?
No, I don't.
Do you?
I'm unconvinced.
I mean, I'd have to go back and watch it again, but
I'm unconvinced
I don't think he
their direction. I'm open to the idea that he did it on purpose. On live, I was just like, that was so sick. My brain is exploding. I was still trying to be mad at Burakovsky about what just happened, and now I'm not mad at anything anymore. No, there's no way that's on purpose.
Yeah,
Watching
no
this
shot.
again.
No shot, dude.
Watching the way that he just turns and fires this puck.
Yeah.
No way. No. That's such a good bounce. Holy jeez. That's a great bounce. Yeah, no way.
I don't think Mac did that well in geometry back in the day. Right?
I don't know that he can spell geometry.
Well, thankfully, geometry has nothing to do with spelling. So you're good.
I can't either. It's not a shot.
But is there something to the Avs getting 2 immediate response goals in this game, or is that just kind of a fluky hockey thing?
No, I think that there's absolutely something to it, because you give up a goal. What's the worst part about giving up a goal? You lose all that momentum, other than the scoreboard, obviously. Like, the other team gets all that momentum, and you're like, okay, this is their opportunity to build. The bench is excited. They're all buzzing. They're all feeling good. Well, 20 seconds later, they're back to losing again. They've climbed the mountain. They have tied the game. They're feeling good. Oh, yeah. All right, we're back in. Shit! It's a huge part of this, man. I think it speaks to Colorado's just general mentality that they're going to come at you. They're going to work. Because it's not like they were sitting on the lead in the third period. They were dominating play in the third period.
Yep. It was
and
just
then the
10-2 at one point.
The Pens just happened to tie it.
Yep.
In that process, they got a great look. They took advantage. They tied it, and then the Avs just went right back to work, and they just finished an opportunity.
Yeah, so you want that payoff, right? You want that payoff of concentrated effort after the other team scores, rather than just sitting back and just being like, "Oh, this sucks." They tied the game up. You see the push
to keep the play, keep the momentum going your direction for sure.
Yeah.
And in a period that was genuinely one of the best periods of the season from the Avs, in my opinion. They were dominating Pittsburgh in the third period of this game.
And not like they dominate Arizona, but like you look at shots were 14-7, scoring chances were 10-6, and high danger chances were 5-3. That's how they played that period against a team that is trying to get home ice advantage in the postseason. Like, who cares deeply about the points in this game with a 1-goal lead? Like, there was no sitting back. They came out and they were like, let's end this. And they just worked and worked and worked and worked. And would you rather have them get a third goal and then give up another goal and then be like, okay, well, that's fine. That goal didn't end up mattering. Sure. But how they did it, like, look, I think it's all just emotional maturity because they could have felt sorry for themselves. They could have packed it in and been like, man, we almost had it. And instead, no, they give up the lead and they were like, F this. We've outplayed these dudes. Let's go and get this. And they went and they took it. They just, in the third period, they were the better team and they just went and took those points. Yeah. The one power play, the one referee-induced decision in this whole game went their way. And they got 0 shots on the PK. Yep. They got nothing. Nothing. Yep. So I don't want to, there were no excuses, no nothing. They barely got anything with a pulled goaltender. Colorado was just great in the third period. I agree with you, Rose. Best third period of the season. They were great. Like, you feel, how did they end this game versus like how they ended like the Panthers game or the Lightning game, where they were sitting back, protecting the lead.
It feels like they're just holding on in those.
They were under siege, and they never let Pittsburgh dig in that way in this period. Yep. Never let it get to that point. There was no big push. There was no any of that. That kicked ass. That was a great finish from them.
Yep, agree. We are brought to you by the American Raptors. They play down at the Infinity Park in Glendale, so you can jump over there, go see a game for free. It's an awesome park. If you've never been there, genuinely, you have to go. Just for like a day out, go to Infinity Park. It's super dope. Awesome place to catch a game. Again, it's free to go watch some rugby down there. The American Raptors, their season has begun, so make sure you're following Colton Strickler and DNVR Rugby over on Twitter. He'll give you all the amazing deets. It's also the home of the men's and women's 15 team, so it's literally the best rugby in the country. Pretty dope. Again, completely free to go there and watch a game. You can also watch online on their website. You can go to infinitypark@glendale.com for more information on them. Highly recommend. Go check it out. Go follow Colton. He's awesome. He gets all these amazing interviews with all these dope rugby players that I'm sure all could kill me with like their pinky fingers. So
how many of them can spell geometry?
Oh my god. AJ chose violence today.
Just curious.
The whole pod. Yeah, Mac and Berkey after us after this.
I mean, I do think that's an interesting question. Like, hockey players are considered extremely tough in the sports world, but so are rugby players. And I wonder,
rugby players go through, dude.
I'm saying rugby players, I might pick rugby players over hockey players in a toughness.
Those dudes are legit crazy. No pads. Come on.
Yeah, it's insane. They wear like earmuffs because the people will rip your ears off in the scrums otherwise. It's actually nuts what they do. So props to any rugby players out there. You're crazy. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. We do have one super chat here. $5 from the Schick. Went and saw Bo play last night. A little rust there, but overall he looks great. Would appreciate if he avoided getting punched, though. Yeah. First of all, are the Eagles the greatest hockey team ever when BOWEN BYRAM is in the lineup?
They had 6 goals. Did they have 6 goals?
8.
8.
8-1 was the final score. BYRAM had 0 points, but it was an 8-1 final. Did do a little scrum there at the end, yeah.
My only real thought is that the people are like, how did Bo look? Like, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Just
genuine, like,
yeah.
Genuinely, the point of his conditioning stint has nothing to do with his play. The quality of his play. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's totally irrelevant. If he gets through them healthy, he's on his way back. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Game speed and how you feeling, right, is basically what they're looking for.
Yeah.
How you feeling after playing at game speed? You feel good?
Yeah.
Cool.
I saw a lot of people like last night who were just like picking it apart and were microman and we're like, oh, well, on this shift he got hit here and it was there and it was just like, whoa, okay. Like in a normal setting when a guy's coming back from injury, that's part of it. And then this one, it's like, it just doesn't matter. As long as he gets out of it healthy.
Yep. If he doesn't walk
was a
down the
huge win.
tunnel, he's fine.
Yeah, straight up. That, like, honestly, that was the whole point of last night, and that's the whole point of him playing again. And then after that, like, is that guy gonna? Is he playing? Is he gonna be here in Winnipeg with me next week? Like,
he might be. He might be. We'll see.
You know, like, because after he finishes that up, if he continues to be healthy and he continues to feel good, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to bring him back and be like, all right, man, go.
Yep, go be dope. Go do dope stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's where it feels like a lot of the Avs lineup is at. Is you can just send dudes out there and tell them to go do dope stuff.
I do think this is the Avs are in a really competitive part of the schedule.
Yep.
They have a lot of games in
For
the
sure.
immediate future against teams that care a whole lot about what's going on. And I just don't. I think it's going to be a bummer there's no Kadri, because you want all these guys building towards the postseason, right? You want them all building so that when they get to the postseason, that they're all feeling good.
Yeah,
that they're in a rhythm and they're in a groove and that they're playing, instead of being like, all right, well, the playoffs have started, so now we're getting back BYRAM and Gerard and Landeskog and Kadri and maybe even Ryan Murray to boot, right? Like, and they're all coming back in game one, and you're just like, oh my God, dude, that's a third of your lineup. That's a lot. So I do want to see them. I do hope that, you know, Kadri out for the foreseeable future, but back before playoffs. Last week of the regular season, bring them all back and get them all vibing going into round one.
Play 3 games with each other, and you're good. Good to go for sure. Avs will take anybody in the first round. Not worried about it. AJ has made the argument many times that it would be a lot doper for them to play Vegas, knock the team out that knocked them out last year. There's always a little bit something extra there, but
right now there's a decent chance that it's Dallas or Vegas, and you're like, all right, you're vanquishing
one way or the other.
Yeah, you're trying to exercise a playoff team in here, no matter what.
True. So I don't think they really care.
Yeah, I don't think that they're looking at it at all.
A very, very simple mindset, and that's dismantle any team they play against in the playoffs this year. Doesn't matter who it is.
They want to change the narrative, and that narrative is huge. I mean, it's not just here; it's everywhere now. Like,
well, I mean, ESPN did a whole feature on it today. Yeah.
I saw your tweet about it. It's like, oh, that makes me feel real good.
Well, because you're watching it, and it's like lost in this. Oh, they can't get out of the second round. You're like, that team was the 8th seed.
Yeah, the first one.
They had 92 points that year.
Arguably their 4th string goaltender the next year.
Like, they lose to San Jose in a year that in a normal season, they wouldn't have made the playoffs.
And like they were kicked Calgary too in the first.
Right. And like they were the 8th seed, and they go in and it was just like, what the hell? It frustrates me when you just like boil it down, and you're just like, okay, well, the bottom line here, AJ, is there are wins, there are losses, and they lost, and it was like, yeah. But remember what it happened? Like, remember how we all felt at the time? We were all like, what a 6th season! They're back, they're competitive, they're gonna be so good.
And Dallas with your third string goalie.
Yeah, Dallas, you're missing 7 regulars in game 7, and it's just like they can't get out of the second round. And you're like, they lose in the second round this last year to the team that they tied at the top of the NHL standings.
The literal 2 best teams in the regular season. Even that.
And it's like, it's so weird to me. It's very weird to me.
How quickly the context gets thrown out the window. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like the same where it's like we usually get at least one person per show coming in and being like, Kuemper's going to choke. You have to go get Fleury because Fleury beat you in the postseason last year. We went and looked it up after the show the other day. Fleury got worse in every playoff round last year.
Yep.
You go and you look at his playoff career and you're just like, meh. So anyway, I look, if it's Colorado and Minnesota in round 2 and they get Fleury, I'm stoked. If it's Colorado and Dallas in round 1 and they get to try and slay that demon, I'm stoked. If it's Colorado and Vegas and they get to try and slay that demon, especially if they're healthy, that could be the best hockey series in the entire postseason. I'm stoked. Because if the Avs can't get through any of those teams, they're not the cup contender that we think they are, and this has all been a huge waste of time.
Yep, for sure.
There is no fear. I'm not going to give the big rant like I did last year, but there's no fear of any of these teams. If the Avs are afraid of any of these teams, they're going to lose. They won't win the cup. That's not to say they have to disrespect them, but Colorado should feel like the best team by a large margin, and they are. Yep. They're built to dominate, and I think that I just think that that's where we're headed.
They're built to dominate.
They're the best team in the league, man. And again, we haven't even seen their best form. They are the secret mythic boss at the end. They're the secret phase at the end at 10%. That's the Avs right now, man. Like the Avs getting healthy for the postseason and maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe they continue to get guys hurt and guys are shuffling in and out of the lineup, blah, and like maybe that, and we just never get to see it. It'd be a damn shame, but sometimes that happens.
Yeah. The league is a maidenless tarnished, and the Avs are a Elden Ring boss. Confirmed.
I don't know what you just said, man, but I'm all about it.
You know that game that's making your kids swear constantly?
I know that one.
Making them swear constantly. Yeah.
Got it. That's all I hear from downstairs now since he bought that game. So
it's hard. It's a hard game. Avs are dope. Everything is dope. That game was dope. I'm gonna go watch it again because it was so cool. And it's only 5:00, so I actually have time in my day to do stuff like that.
Can I just a quick, like we kind of touched on it earlier, but off the top of anybody's head, do you know who led the Avs in shots on goal today?
No.
Who led on shots on goal?
Yeah. Which Avs player had the most shots on goal today?
I guess maybe like LEHKONEN.
So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that had 4 shots on goal and 1 that had 5. Ooh. Do you know who had the 5?
Nope.
Was it Miko? Was it the
Any
big
guesses?
dog?
Do we have a guess?
My guess was LEHKONEN.
Miko, LEHKONEN is correct.
Ooh,
wow.
It's LEHKONEN and the other guys with 4. Nichushkin, MacKinnon, Burakovsky, Rantanen, Taves.
Those are the dudes.
Those are your heavy hitters, man. Like, your boys at that point showed up.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't love this game from not just the Avs perspective, but as a hockey fan. This is the best thing you can ask for.
This team is silly. It's silly. Like, you're missing 4 top guys right now, and you're just fine, cool. Just keep winning.
Yep. I thought that was really interesting because, I mean, you're talking all the new guys are still trying to figure it all out, right? And we haven't said his name at all, but Josh Manson.
Rock solid, man.
Did he look ever comfortable in a game with that intensity level?
Yep.
Where
Manny, he loves the jump cut still, though.
Man. There are some things from him, man, where I'm just like, I don't know what's going on right now, but I just think he's such a good fit, and he's starting to settle a little bit, and you're seeing it. You're like, oh man, this dude is this dude is figuring this out.
So it's gonna be fun one way or another. I just wish the playoffs started tomorrow instead of a month from now. That's all. I mean, just because of the injuries and all, I'm good with it. But like, we have to watch another month of regular season hockey that's just not gonna matter. Yeah.
I so badly want to see this team healthy and see what the healthy version of this team is capable of.
Yep.
Because it is going to feel like an all-time robbery if we don't get to see what the full version of this club gets to look like. A cap-compliant one they didn't have to do any gymnastics, any funny stuff, because it's like, I'm kind of curious what the Vegas monster would have looked like had they gotten to keep everybody and everybody was healthy and they just said, fuck the cap, you know? I'm kind of curious what that team looks like, how good that team could have been, but I'm really curious what this team also would look like at 100%. It's already been so good, so special that I don't know how much better they can get, but I think that it could be the difference between winning and losing a cup.
How good is the final going to be when it's Panthers Avs? Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's going to be dope when it's Carolina Avs for sure.
Did you see the Panthers came back?
Yeah, 4-goal deficit.
Won it.
Period. Beat Jersey 7-6. Yeah,
I think I'm going to enjoy watching their the Eastern postseason, like the East playoffs, as much as anything else.
Oh, it's going to be a bloodbath over there. Yeah.
Like, especially round one, where you're just like, well, there's not a single matchup in here that makes me go, eh.
Especially, like, it's looking like you're going to get New York, Pittsburgh, and Tampa, Toronto for the 2-3 seeds in each division. And it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Someone's going to take hard L's.
Like the seeding is going to really matter there because home ice advantage is going to be huge for like Tampa. Toronto is going to be, that's important.
Yep.
Those teams are both exceptional home teams and good road teams.
Yep. And a series like Tampa Toronto, that's big travel. That's a long way to go.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll talk all about that next week with all the days off the Avs have. So we're going to get out of here for this one. We appreciate all of y'all hanging out with us in the post game, however you consume, watching, listening, whatever else. Y'all are dope. We are off tomorrow because it's Sunday. I think we'll have a show on Monday, but not 100% sure. We're still figuring out our stuff for the month of April. So you can find us on Twitter if you go follow us there. You can also like and subscribe here on YouTube to always keep up to date with all of that. We will be back whenever we're back, and we will talk to you then.